Hello and welcome to game week 14, Shane. Don't even know what game week it is. It's coming around that quickly at the moment. With the double pivot, I'm FPL Discomfort Kieran, joined by Shane, FPL Veteran, who has literally finished work, realised that he's been doing the time difference in reverse when he's been suggesting times
Yeah.
to me. So for those of you who were here patiently waiting with me earlier whilst we waited to hear back from him, thanks for having a little chat in the comments beforehand. But either way, we're grateful that you managed to find time to join us, Shane. I think both you and I have had to sort of scramble things together, try and get something out. So we are going to say it by 8:30 UK time.
Yeah.
We want to be done. We want to be finished. But look, first of all, Shane, how are you? How is your week going?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Like you said there, Kieran. Thank you for all the people in the chat that stuck around. Apologies of my tardiness. Yeah, the hour ahead and the hour behind. Yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare. So, Kieran was nice and calm actually. He was like, "No, I'm sure you said 7." I was like, this is awkward." So I just finished work, but I was saying to you before, mate, we've not even had a chance to catch up. But it's been good, mate. Been teaching people to ski a little bit of shooting. But it's hectic, you know. You have like 3 sessions a day, a little bit. But it's good. It's enjoyable, mate. And yeah, do you know what? I'm actually excited. We're in a midweek, and it's game week 14. I feel like in the groove now of FPL. Do you know what I mean? Like we're in the doldrums, mate. And this is where it matters, Kieran. And this is what we're here for, aren't we? We're here to make it simpler for the audience. Sprinkle a little bit of banter in there, and you might, Kieran, you might get a good piece of advice. I said might. It could be soon, but at least once a night. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's plenty in chat, mate. Colin, Sparta, Colm, Maliki, Paul, Eddie. They're all in there, mate. They're all in there. So thanks for joining. But no, it's been good, Kieran, and it's good to see you, mate. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. And look, we can start off with it. Well, look, we'll click through the first slide. First of all, I don't know how many subscribers this says that we have, but at the moment we seem to be gaining a couple, losing a couple. So look, either way, we're grateful for those of you that are around. We're not really one of those numbers things, but it would be awesome if people kept clicking that subscribe and sharing things. I was looking when I was putting things together, Shane, and we'll come on to teams in a
Yeah.
bit, but you've got a pretty decent rank now. Two of us combined, we have to be up there, right? We have to be.
Well, I was thinking that we must be. Do you know what I'm going to say? It. I'm going to say it. We're the joint. Well, not the joint, but we're the what? The top pod, top ranked pod. Should we say it? Nah, I'm saying it. I'm saying it. We're the top ranked pod. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty. I mean, what are you up to now? You're
Well, we'll
high,
come on
man.
to it in a second, but like first of all, I kind of want
Yeah,
to skip ahead, right? Because before we come on to our teams, I think first of all, like look, you saw it, right? I threw a lot of shade out there just before the deadline. Thursday, a little bit bored at work, might have been
shade. Is that what
Tuesday.
you call it, Kieran? Shade.
Well,
I mean,
we were
that's
talking about
yeah.
it. We were talking about on the
Uh,
podcast, right? Like people were taking out teams that were decent for teams that were on poor form,
yeah,
and bringing in the likes of Brentford, bringing in the likes of Villa less so, right? But Man United, ignoring Man United, but like Liverpool, City, no one scoring goals outside of Haaland, and Wolves should have scored. Wolves
a
deserve to score. Wolves
100%.
could have won that game. Phil Foden in the dying seconds turns it into a haul for Man City.
Yeah,
And the other players that people bought in on a free hit, Thiago, I own him. Cody Gakpo, I own him.
we both
So
do. Yeah,
like, I was fine with it. But that like, we've both done well. We both got a green arrow, as I put in the title. We both managed a green arrow despite not using a free hit. But we were so close to glory. And I've got to say, I've not actually received too much slack. One person was complimenting his score. I've asked him to join the show because congratulated him on getting a green like us. He was muted on my account. I only saw it on our joint X account. But yeah, it turns out I
same.
don't like when people give it back. Clearly, but he
Oh, he
he
said
commented he
I
got
was
like
waiting
six.
for it. Do you know? Do you know what's
He
funny?
got he got 65 points, right? He got 65 points, and he said it was
Yeah,
27 points better than his normal team. Which I will
right.
then say does go back to my point that like your normal team's not that great for the next couple of weeks then, because we'll come on to our teams and barring
Ooh,
a few flags,
Yeah,
We had the players. We had the ones you want long term.
we did, mate. We did. Like I said, you get at least one piece of advice. Do you know what I mean? And here it comes. But do you know what?
So look,
I'm gonna touch. I'll just quick
go for
touch
it.
on that. Like the free hit. Listen, would it pay off? It depends what your team was, but it wasn't a disaster. And I'd say like a lot of top content creators or content creators, it did work. I mean, it doesn't matter if they're lucky in that like Villa how they didn't concede. They didn't, but I think it just shows you don't have to be a sheep. You don't have to follow. There's different routes there. Do you know what I mean? And we often like to take a different route, Kieran. Do you know what I mean? And we're going to
Well, there's
discuss
a
it
couple
now.
of things that I was saying to some people that were on the free hit, right? And it was something that FPL Brandon posted on X, and I do love it when people put information that I'd not thought about or thought about but haven't known how to articulate or look into further. And he was saying, people were looking at a City defender, a Brentford defender, a Liverpool defender,
Yeah.
and a Villa defender. And he was saying, well, the chance of getting 4 teams getting a clean sheet is incredibly low. You should be looking to triple up on one of the defences
Yes.
and go all in on one that you back. And I was saying to people like Marcelo and a few others, like triple Villa defence. I didn't back their attack enough yet, but I
Yeah.
was going, yeah, Martinez, Cash, Dinya, cool, there you go. And that's what I would have done because it was interesting. I think using the chip in the second half of the game week or second half of the season, that is something I'm going to take with me to kind of go all in on a defence.
Yeah. I
What are
agree.
these
Yeah.
fixtures though? Looking through these fixtures, anything jump out to you as surprising in particular, Shane?
Well, there's a few kind of just going down the list. But I mean, listen, we all expected Brentford to win, so I'll glaze over that. City for me was a big one. Now, all these people were like, yeah, City, they're always strong in the second half of the season and they'll come back. Okay, they're not too far behind Arsenal, but if at home you're going to concede 2 goals to Leeds, and one of them is Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who, by the way, if you've not seen the goal, they literally passed the ball to him, and you think they can win the title, another thing coming. For me, not to go too much into title talk, but City, listen, they will be thereabouts, but they won't get up there. Conceding 2 at home, they were pretty poor at the back, mate. Gvardiol had a nightmare. So that's probably the first one that jumped out at me. And then the Newcastle Everton, mate, especially after a European game, battered Everton, didn't they?
Yeah, like
Which I didn't expect, but Everton were pretty poor. So I don't, as good as Newcastle were,
we're starting to see
Everton weren't
some
the
things
best.
that we're starting to get a bit more of a sample size now, right? And I think that's one of the
Yes.
important things to look at. Like, I still don't buy the rhetoric that West Ham are really bad. I thought they looked pretty decent against Liverpool. I think they look decent. I don't think they look good. I think they look decent. I think they look
Yeah.
like a team that will stay up this season because they've got a manager and they've got a style.
Yep, you sound like me, Kieran. What's going on, Kieran? Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I watched that game and they do get quite a lot of chances. Whether they put it away, they're not, they're not overly clinical. Bowen had a really, really good chance it would maybe normally put away. But I don't know if it's a bit of West Ham or a little bit better than we think, in terms of getting a result. And Liverpool, I think a 2-0 for Liverpool flattered them. At times they were a little bit back to the wall. Again, defensively, a little bit of a mess. If West Ham had a little bit, better finishing, and Paqueta didn't talk himself into a. It's quite funny. Do you reckon Paqueta put a bet on himself to get booked or sent off?
No, not again. Not again. He's not that stupid. Although Christmas is expensive, I think he's not that stupid.
That would be the ultimate, wouldn't it? So yeah, I think on that West Ham Liverpool, West Ham they have improved a bit in Liverpool. I think at the back they're still pretty poor. But like you said, we had Cody Gakpo who worked out to be the one. We were saying a lot of the season that Salah was going to get benched. I had a bet with Kanji. I think you've seen that. It's a £50 bet. Went to charity, but it was coming, mate. And actually, I dare say, Liverpool, well, Verts played better. That's probably his best game in a Liverpool shirt.
Not a high bar
So
though, is it? One
yeah,
thing I will just
yeah,
add
fair
here,
one.
and to answer Sandri, why is the screen so small? Well, I was responsible for putting this together with about 20 minutes after work today, and Shane normally does it. So we do apologise if it's not as good and sleek as it has
What,
been
the
this
main screen?
season. Apparently,
Oh, I
yeah.
thought it looked pretty good. Let us know in the
Well,
chat. Maybe it's my eyes.
yeah, apologies for any of that, but look, we're here for the chat. Let's show the graphics. Look through the rest of these. Sunderland scoring 3. I didn't expect Bournemouth to concede 3. Like, my dilemma going into the game week was
Well,
I had Semenyo, Lacroix, Mukiele, and Senesi, and I couldn't work out which 2 to start and which 2 to bench. And My gut was leaning to benching Semenyo, if I'm honest. That would have
Mm,
been a terrible decision. Outcome based, it would have been right, but he deserved to get at least an assist in that game. So that would have been a terrible decision. Senesi was my last
yeah.
option and suddenly became my first option, and I took Mukiele out at the last minute. And that wasn't terrible because he got Defcon, and Lacroix only would have got me one extra point. So it's these sort of tiny, tiny decisions. But I don't think anyone saw a 3-2 in that game. Off the back of a 2-2
Yeah.
against Arsenal, then a 3-2. Like, this is a Sunderland team who just, they can either win 1-0, but if you're going to come and try and score against us, then screw it, let's go. We think we can battle you toe to toe at home.
Yeah, and listen, Bournemouth, I'm pretty sure that's what, the third, is that the third game in a row they've conceded three? Or at least 2 and 3. 2 and 3 games they've conceded three on the road. So,
Away from home,
yeah,
they do concede a lot, don't they?
but they keep changing the centre backs a little bit, don't they? They keep changing one of the centre backs, and um, yeah, I just don't think they've. I mean, they used to be good away from home, didn't they? Used to put in a solid display. Listen, Sunderland's still a really good team, so I don't think we can read too much into it. But when you're conceding 3 and 2 goals away from home, I'm a little bit concerned. And like you, I think we spoke on the last one about Senesi. I ended up benching him this week, and just yeah, he's kind of gone down. Before the first 3, 4, 5, 6 game weeks, everyone had him and he was solid. He was always in there. But I looked at the results recently, and there's not many clean sheets to go with that DEFCON, you know. Elsewhere in the other game, I
Jackie,
think
is
we.
this
Oh, go
Jackie, is this any better? Let us know. Sort of people, let us know if this looks better or worse. I'm trying to sort of move it around and see how we can appear bigger on your screens.
yeah. Here we
So
go.
yeah,
I've got it.
here we go. Got it.
Oh, no, I don't. Okay. So that's why. So if you change, so if I click on that, that should be better. Maybe do it on the move. Do it on the move, eh? Hybrid broadcast. Yeah, see, it clips it to two. So you can do one for the mobile and you can do one for the YouTube, but the horizontal one's bigger. Yeah, there's two streams and two chats. Yeah,
Is
fine.
it
We'll go
working
with it.
now? Like, have you sorted it
No,
or?
so it's down as a vertical. I think you can change it. Let's quickly have a look at the layouts. All right. Um, if you just quickly talk about another game, I was going to talk about the Palace game. Tell me about the Palace United game that you thought, mate. I had quite a lot to say about that, to be
Do you
honest.
know what? Palace looked tired. I think that's what it comes down to more than anything else. I think there were clearly tired legs there.
Yeah.
Saar Saar injury hurt a lot because I
Oh,
felt as if there was a lot of opportunity for him to do well in that game. He'd proven it towards the start. He was looking decent. If anything, he's actually forced my hand in terms of a transfer this week, and we'll come on to that as we get a bit more into it. But I think United were fine. Arguably one of Xerxes' stronger games,
hmm
but they look fine. It didn't look anything special. It came down to set piece goals, which they are top in the Premier League for converting at the moment. They might, I think they've got the same amount of goals now as Arsenal from set pieces with less set pieces. So yeah, they're doing well. It's
yeah. We kind of
I
spoke.
think
I
if
don't know.
Palace weren't tired,
Good.
they probably would have won it or at least drawn it. But I think this is the point you were making probably about 5, 6 game weeks ago, which is when I said you're far too early on it. Where I was going, look, this isn't the point now. It will catch up with them in December.
Yeah.
But when they had
Yeah.
those European fixtures, it didn't matter. They had the right Premier League fixtures to be able to get through it. Whereas now, going into games like United, who they've comfortably beaten when they played them at home in the last few seasons, or the last few matches at least, across the last couple of seasons, they suddenly were struggling on that.
Yeah, I think for me, like you're saying, maybe we cooked it a little bit too soon in terms of like tiredness. But like you're saying, it caught up with them in the first half. I think it was maybe a little bit of Man United not pressing as well. In the second half, they started pressing a little bit more intently or with intent. And yeah, Palace were getting a little bit tired, weren't they? And it did catch up with them. The Sar injury did hurt me, especially when I moved to Eze, well, from Eze to Sar. Even though Eze got 2 points, he still beat Sar again by a point. So I was hoping he could even that out. And then next week he's got Burnley, and it looks like he'll be injured. So I was going to rage quit out, mate, but I thought, no, calm down. I'm still going to do the same move anyway, but wait to the end to see who I swapped Sar with, because it's quite a big upgrade, Kieran, if you will. Elsewhere, games are good. Brighton surprised me, actually. Forest at home. They did batter them, actually. And I think Dyche is just finding his formation and, his first 11. Murillo was missing as well, so that probably played a factor. But yeah, it was good. It was a good weekend of football, actually. Even though I'm out skiing, mate, at the weekend I did catch quite a few games. So look out for my little veteran vision for the game week again, mate. But yeah, it was good.
Right.
It was a good weekend of football, mate. Liked it.
Sweet. Well, look, before we jump onto our teams, and again, formatting's gone slightly wrong here, but Shane, we both, the very first game, and I said it at the time, you went first. You predicted Brentford 3, Burnley 1. And I went, I don't want to copy you, but that's what I've gone for as well. And we both got that one right. So we both got a correct score there.
Oh, I thought it went 3-0. I like it.
We both went 3-1. We both went 3-1 there. Elsewhere, we both got the City result right. You got the Sunderland result right. I got the Newcastle result right. We both got the Villa result right. I got the Liverpool result right because you went for a 2-2 draw. So it's actually a pretty poor week overall. I got 1 correct score, 4 correct results. You got 1 correct score, 3 correct results. But it meant that I'm catching you. So only 15 points difference between us now.
Look at the audience. They're going crazy.
Over to you, Shane. And do you know what? Actually, we'll start with my team. The reason we're going to start with my team is because I've let Shane know, but I mistimed a few different things, and I've actually got a delivery arriving apparently in 5 minutes. So we'll talk through my team first of all, and then I can go answer the door. Look, how was it? I kind of spoke through it, right? The transfer I made this week was I took out Gabriel finally, and when we were saying waiting for the right player, took him out, brought in Nico O'Reilly. Did what he needed to, got 3 points, or 4 points, got his assist. Petrovic and Senesi clearly didn't get their clean sheet. So Senesi just getting a 2-pointer there. Munoz did nothing in that game, so probably should have started Lacroix over him, but I'm always going for the upside between those two Palace boys, always in those kind of games. Cody Gakpo saved the game week with his 14-pointer. Solskjaer did nothing, and again, he's a bit of a regret that I bought him when I did, because that was the Eze transfer last week. So whilst Eze did nothing this week, it felt like a good week for Solskjaer. He's still got another 2 weeks in my team before I need to worry about him. So give him those 2 fixtures. Semenyo looks similar. Semenyo should have scored more points. He's got a couple of fixtures. He's not going to AFCON. I'm now at the stage where every move I'm making is to do with my game week 17 bench boost plan. And Semenyo is perfect for game week 17 bench boost. And so is Senesi. So despite Senesi missing 1 game, that's great. The one thing I got away with, if anything, is I was convinced Munoz was going to get booked and therefore missed the easy fixture coming up before the fixture run.
You texted that, didn't
you? If he had, then I'd be in a lot of trouble. Same as if Sobsolai picked up his 4th yellow card. I probably would have been looking at wildcarding in a short period if that had happened. With the wildcard still in hand, I would have been going, what am I going to do? I'm not taking a hit when we're about to get 5 transfers in 5 days' time. So, yeah, Semenyo didn't do much. Saka got his assist. It could have been more. It should have been more. He could have got that winning goal, and we didn't really touch upon it. But Arsenal were poor by their standards. They were poor against 10 men. They were poor. It was definitely a red card. I think we could clearly cope without Gabriel or Saliba, but the 2 combined was a lot of pressure on the new centre-back pairing of Mosquera and Hincapié. I think we were punished at set pieces there. So not too concerned. Saliba should be back, I think, by the weekend at the latest. There's no point to rushing back for the Brentford game, necessarily. Sarr, we've already touched upon, 30-minute sub. Thiago had him for a number of weeks now, so happy with him. And then Haaland doing nothing like everyone else thought. And then on the bench was Dubravka, Mukiele, Lacroix, Mark Gui. So, look, I realised actually, I don't know if you use Peter's FPL team, but I saw it on above average when they were showing their team. And actually, I quite like how this displays because it shows 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 bonus. So it kind of highlights the best of my team there. No DEFCON highlighted from that, and I think that's because only Senesi got DEFCON. Right, I'm going to hand it over to you though, Shane.
Oh,
to your
perfect
team.
timing. Perfect timing. Right, chat. Help me along. Yeah, Kieran's
Hello.
team was good. He's just going to get his shot
Hello
in.
there.
In fact, let's just touch on Kieran's team, chat. All right, help me out. I think it's quite good. I mean, we've got Gakpo, Thiago. We've both got them. We actually don't really speak much, me and Kieran, about for the game week, which is it's pretty mad because obviously we do a pod together, but because we're very very busy just now, we don't really discuss moves. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 players together, and we've kind of morphed. I think because we're probably going both to bench boost. He's thinking about 17. I'm thinking about 16 or 19. I don't know. I've not made my mind up yet. We'll have to see. But I don't mind his team. I mean, look, he's up to 19,500. So absolutely fantastic. Still number one content creator. And actually, hopefully, me and Kieran are the number one pod, the number one ranked FPL pod. I'm going to go out and say it. I think we are. Number one ranked pod. Tune into FPL Double Pivot. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, all that good stuff. Yeah, his team, I don't think it's too bad. I think the Senesi, I benched Senesi before. You come in to see my team in a second. But yeah, it's not bad. He was unlucky with Senesi. Senesi could have had more. And Sar, we know what Sar's like. The only one I don't like in his team, actually, is Soboslai. Never got the pick. Never liked it. I really, really didn't. He is a 10, but in that Liverpool squad, Wirtz was playing the other day and actually looked really, really good. When he's got the freedom to roam, Wirtz, he is good. And I've been thinking about maybe getting him my team at some point, which is crazy. I know. But yeah, the eye test, it does matter. It does matter a lot. Colm said, have we had any more news on Thiago? He was seen leaving the ground on crutches. Yeah, I heard that, but I've not seen any stills or anything, so I'm not sure. Funnily enough, let's come on to my team. I mean, I had Thiago as well. I mean, that'll obviously affect if we play him this weekend or not. Rogers let me down. And yeah, elsewhere, I was just saying there, Kieran, elsewhere, it was a bit of a mixed week. Gakpo and Thiago probably propped me up. O'Reilly could have had a haul. We both got O'Reilly. He could have had an absolute, and he should have. Conceding to Leeds at home is poor. They were really, really poor. Vicario, keepers wise, I never like making a keeper substitution or a transfer, sorry, and I think I'm going to have to make one because Spurs can't keep clean sheet, and seemingly neither can Bournemouth. So I might take a -4 with bench boost in mind, same as you. I'm kind of building towards that. So I've got one eye on players that are going to do well just now, and one eye on bench boost. I'm trying to combine them as much as I can without affecting the
That
overall
your
team.
last remaining chip, the bench boost?
That's my last one, mate. Yeah. Do you know, we didn't speak about it actually, but Reinders point dodged again. I watched the game and he was more forward than Haaland on a few occasions. He had a good few shots and yeah, he was in good positions. It just didn't work out for him. But yeah, I think I might hold him. We'll come to the teams at the end, but I think I might hold him. Elsewhere, if we can get a green arrow, especially you, Kieran, at your rank up to 19,500, that's the good thing. You know what I mean? We continue the green arrows. And I feel like, I said this the last few weeks here, and we're making the right decisions generally. Take Ezzy out of the equation. We're making the right decisions at the right time. And I'm feeling in the groove. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we're above the wave, or we're riding the wave, if you will. So yeah, it wasn't a bad
Only
week for us both, mate.
the one thing that's not in our title this week, and we have to relinquish, is I'm no longer the unofficial top-ranked FPL content creator. I got a green
Oh,
arrow,
who
but I'm
is?
not now. FPL Aya, or Era.
Oh, okay, yeah. I spoke to him before. Yeah, nice guy.
Yeah,
What is
he's
it
actually
close
having it.
though?
I think there's about 13 points in it, but he's top 10k now. He's
Does he have
9k
Foden?
something. Oh yeah, he free hit.
You
He
must
free
add
hit, right?
Foden. Ah, okay, yeah. Well, that's the points are so close, man. It's one weekend, but
Do you know, I have to
just
give
before we
credit to
go
like
on.
some free hit people, at this moment. So
Yeah.
I was having back and forth banter with a few people, and one of them, Az from Black Box, he free hit,
Oh, do you?
and yeah, I feel a bit bad for him because he's the kind of manager who he moved away from the template, but he also moved away from the wrong reasons or the right reasons. He was going to go Isaac and Cody Gakpo,
I've seen that.
and
Yeah.
and then he changed after Slot's press conference. He changed it to Salah
What did he go to?
and Sobstalai. So like
Oh,
he
a
actually
double
took those
dagger.
variants punts. He went for those ones, and instead he got punished for it. And you've got to give credit to people when they do go slightly against the template, copied everything else. But I think at
Yeah.
his rank, he's had a rough start to the season. So he had to take those kind of risks. He probably should have taken a few more because he was another one of the examples of had 4 different teams for his defense. But credit to him, exciting way of playing it. I think he'll get a bit more engagement after using his bench boost for DCL last week, and then DCL scored this week.
Yeah, I did because he's in the Nightmare League, and it's always good to just because I'm in there for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm all right. I think I'm up to like 12th or whatever, so I'm not far. I'm beating quite a few content creators or fellow content creators, but yeah, it's good to have a little gander what everyone kind of played, and actually, do you know what? I'll talk about it just now. I will. I'm gonna hit the nail on the head. People are like, "What? Don't say it. Don't say it." The amount of content creators, and I'm going to say it, that are flat out copying each other is pretty poor. Oh, here we go. Yeah, you could make this on the FPL Veteran. Yeah, I didn't have one plan. But yeah, content creators, the amount that copied each other, in my opinion, is pretty poor form. Now there is. I'm not going to name them. All right, there's a few individuals, and there always is, right? The seasons are a little bit harder now, isn't it? We have to watch a little bit more football now. The data's not coming through all the time, and that's what I love. That's what I love about football. But listen, when you have exactly the same team as another content creator, I just feel like it's a little bit cheating some of the audience a little bit if you've got exactly the same team. We've got 15 players in a free hit. Okay, I kind of understand because it's a 1 week thing. But for the majority, if you've got 14 players, 13 players the same, they're in the cocoon, they're in the shell, they're in the bubble, and we're breaking out from that, Kieran, and that's where we make our best decisions. I think not in that fear zone, not compounded by that and worried about what we're going to do. We trust a little bit of eye test, we trust a bit of data, we chuck it all together, and that's what you get. You get 19,500 like you, mate. So
It's
yeah,
also an
that was kind of
interesting one
like
though.
my vision.
I do get your point, and I was looking at in the content creators leagues, right? That those who did well had Foden, those who didn't have Doku. Those who did really well had Dango, those who didn't had Sharda. Right. And I think the reality is, if you actually look at the game week, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I have people at my work, and this is kind of an example. My work league at the moment, half of them have used less than 2 of their chips so far because they did not realize that you get to use your chips again in the second half of the season.
Oh,
One
did
of
they
them has
not?
used
Oh.
none. He has used none. There are 5
Oh.
game weeks left, and he has to use 4 of them, and he gets AFCON transfers for another. So he's actually in a good position without realizing it. That's kind of the level of the average person. We're all pretty engaged. Now, one of
Yeah.
them, he's forgotten to do his team 3, 4 times. Bottom of the league at work. Start of the season was ahead of me and was like, "Oh, I thought you're good at this." I'm like, "Hang on, it's been 1 week, mate. Just chill, calmer." So I reminded him on Thursday. I was like, I won't name names, but I said, "You want a free hit this week?" And he threw together a team. He watches no content. Clearly, he watches no content. And his
Yeah.
team had Martinez, Cash, Collins, O'Reilly, Salah, Gakpo, Dango, Thiago, Haaland, Mateta. So he actually did better. And he only had one player different than some of them there. He had Utara over
Yeah.
Sharda, and he had
Yeah.
Mateta over another midfielder. But again, he has none. And I think that's probably it. Unfortunately, to do it last week, whether you plan to or not, whether you watch content creators, the fixtures to target were quite clear, and it was then
Yeah.
not even 50-50s. If you played it the safest you possibly could, and the safest way you could would be picking Foden, Haaland, and O'Reilly, great. I personally would have gone rogue and done worse. I would have picked Shirky over Foden, and I would have suffered.
He did get
So
an
I think
assist, but
it's
yeah, it
that.
wouldn't have been as good. Yeah, it wouldn't be as
Yeah,
good.
but I think it's that. I think we saw it, and it was more noticeable because a lot of people that are way better than us historically at this game, way better, have way larger
Yeah, of course.
followings due to some of that. A lot of them do play it a lot more defensively. I heard Gary on Pubcast explaining it, that a lot of people, him and Trig, were playing theirs in a defensive way rather than in an offensive way.
You
And a
mean an
lot do. And
FPL review? review away. Is that right?
Exactly. FPL review is like Foden is the best second Man City attacker. Foden has had lots of shots. Foden is your best second option. It is that simple if you're looking at it on paper. And Foden
Yeah,
also
yeah,
was clearly the second best option if you're going for an attacker, right? Because he's been scoring in the Champions League. You've been putting the ball just past the post if you've been watching the games. You've been in all the right
yeah,
places. I would have gone Shirky because you get to shout about it more, right? And those kind of things.
yeah.
So I think I agree with your point. A lot of them were similar, very similar. It was quite nice to see Salah not start and therefore them having to like get a bench jam of a Reynildo or someone who still got 4 points.
Yeah,
So it was interesting from those perspectives. But
I
good
think,
overall.
I
I,
think,
I, I think it was fair enough. Like if you did that game, like it was always going to be similar, much
yeah,
like we normally see wild cards will all be similar teams, similar at least 10 of them when they start to do it. Game week one teams were all quite similar as well. I think we've just had a
yeah,
very good season where that template similar way of thinking hasn't been the right way of thinking. And this was the first occasion where it has been.
yeah. And like some people, like I mean, listen, you had, listen, let's not go into detail, but I think some people, how text comes across in like a message or writing and that, some people take the wrong thing. Like, I was speaking to Andy FPL Mode the other day, and I was saying about content creator blindness, right? And he was saying, oh, there's a few content creators that were like, oh, I kind of took that the wrong way. Now that wasn't like I was saying content creators were blind. I'm saying it's like it's a thing that happens sometimes. Sometimes there's a lot of content creators that the same players to take in and out, and that will happen often because sometimes that's the best players. But the point that I was trying to make was sometimes people take that as gospel and they just go, oh, straight in. And they don't forethink or they don't think deeper. Do you know what I mean? A little bit deeper. I'm like, okay, I might not choose him because of him. They sit back or whatever. Like we kind of do on the pod, mate. We talk about team matchups and how teams are going to play and what that means for FBL teams. But
And I'll say the other part as well
yeah,
that you kind of avoided, but like people can also be incredibly sensitive, but also boastful and arrogant at the same time. And we like to play like we have fun when we're playing this game. What I will say about
yeah,
my tweet and whether or not it came off as passive aggressive or anything else,
it did to
my
me,
tweet
Kieran. It
said
did to me.
my tweet said most content creators are playing their free hit this week. Most content creators have a bad rank. Most creators have a bad team. I'm not playing mine. I've got a good rank. I've got a good team. Makes you think. That's all right. Just saying, as in, now, if you are, and I would say this happily, a content creator who was offended by that, then yes, it was directed at you because you do have a bad rank and a bad team. Right? If you weren't offended by it, it's because number one, you don't give a fuck about what I say, right? Which is probably what your stance should be. Why should you care about what I say to the extent where you respond to me for the first time ever? And
Yeah,
number two, like you won't care if you actually had a good rank. There's plenty of people who played their free hit this
mm.
week who had a good rank. Fran played his, he already had a good rank. Like there were plenty of them, and they also have a good team going into it. So it wasn't directed at those people. It was directed at the
I,
people that were all similar, and therefore, if you're at a similar rank as well
yeah,
and doing badly, then why is playing that chip at that time going to help you out in the long term if everyone else similar at your rank is going to do it? You've all jumped across the dormant accounts. Well done. You've gained a million places on people who aren't playing, like my work
yeah.
colleagues who don't know they
And
got two sets of chips.
we were talking the other day as well, Kieran. I think people have to be aware that the style in which you say something and the style in which you type something, you've already got a preconception of that individual because you either like that individual or you might not like that individual, and that affects how you interpret that quite often. There's certain people in the communities that are very tongue in cheek. They are very "I told you so," blah 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 blah. And it's that fine edge, isn't it? What comes across to someone is like, oh yeah, it's just being but humble. Might come across someone as not. One thing I do want to talk about though, Kieran, is like I'm saying, I feel like we're on that wave, and I feel like I've been making right decisions this year. And just to let people in, let the audience into a little secret, I have never ever ever looked at FBL review. I've never ever ever looked at Solio. Yet quite often the players that I've had in or we've had in Kieran are intertwining. Like an Eze. I think I've had Eze since like game week 4 or whatever. You know, Rodgers when he got those 2 goals. So it's good. Again, I feel like I'm on the wave. I feel like I'm right decisions, and it's good that people are like moving to some players we have. Do you know what I mean? It means that hopefully, touch wood, we're having a good season. Obviously, you a little bit more than us. Claire just dropped in the chat. Claire, how you doing? Colm's in there, Paul's in there, Sandry's in. While you're listening, guys, girls, even if you're watching back, drop in the comments how you got on this week, how your team got on. And we did promise we'll be off within an hour. And we're on track, Kieran. We're on track. So let's keep moving. Oh, see, we're on track, and then Kieran's gone mute. He's derailing it.
Well, it's because you were talking too much. I was trying to move it. I was trying to move it on earlier, and then realised I was muted. Yeah, like talking about moving on. I was fortunate to, I've got a couple of players who are here who are on 4 yellow cards, and I thought at that point, this was shared in a WhatsApp group that I'm in, and it's on your favourite website, Fantasy Football Scout, who we're not sponsored by, but hello, we will be if you'd like us to. Hi.
They are good. Yeah, they are good. It's the best one.
But they've got the yellow card tracker on there, and just having a quick look through it, there are a lot of highly owned players on this, right? Calafiori, 4 yellow cards. Sharda, who a lot of people maybe bought in for the fixture run, is on 4 yellows. Munoz is on them. Soboslai is on them. Donnarumma, surprisingly, is on them.
Yeah,
Jack
I did
is on
see
them
that,
as well.
yeah.
So, yeah, I think we're at that point, right, where the yellow cards are stacking up, and we're at busy fixtures where those lazy tackles are coming in. That I think also you want to keep a semi-eye on players who are on 3 yellow cards as well when you're making some of your transfer decisions. Just something that I wanted to throw up when I was looking at who I was going to bring in midfielder-wise, if there was anything to be concerned about. And yeah, more concerned that I've got a couple of players who are 1 away.
Yeah, and do you know what? It's funny. I was looking at exactly the same thing today, and I was thinking, what opportunity does that give us? In terms of us looking to bench boost. If Donnarumma gets a yellow card soon, if he's got an easy fixture, you could get a cheaper keeper. So it does have meaning. It does have. But yeah, like you're saying, there was Munoz was up there. Some people thought he got his 5th last week, but it wasn't. It was his 4th. Donnarumma, I was very surprised he got yellows, and I imagine they must all be for dissent, right? Or maybe one for a penalty, but I think they're all
time wasting.
So
yeah,
it's bad with the Man City keeper's time wasting. Soboslai was a bit. I'm surprised he's got 4. The likes of like Collins, Adams. I'm not surprised that they have 4, but yeah, it's something to definitely keep in mind. Oh, he's gone off again.
I am doing such good transitions as well, because I went thinking of keeping things on mind. Let's keep things on time, and let's move over to the predictions for this week. But I was muted. That's twice now that I've had the perfect transition. But because I'm having a little bit of my dinner and a quick chew here and there, I'm muting myself and not unmuting. So look, we'll kick off with you, Shane. 6 o'clock deadline tomorrow. But 2 games to kick us off. But the first one, Bournemouth versus Everton.
Oh, and play along with in chat. Chat with us. It's always good to hear. Happy's in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Play along with us. Bournemouth, Everton. Do you know what? Bournemouth started going down on my little estimations a bit. I mean, obviously a little bit more away from home. They are a little bit more solid in the setup at home. I think this is a game that both teams need to steady the ship a little bit, especially Everton getting battered 4-1 and Bournemouth conceding 3. So I think it's going to be tight. It could actually go either way. I'm probably going to go. I'm going to cop out a bit. I'm going to go for a draw, and I'm going to go for. Do you know what? I'm doing it. I'm going for a Desi. Straight out the gate, mate. Desi. 2-2. I've done it. Geddy's in the chat. Good to see you, big man. 2-2, mate. Little Desi straight out the backs.
Cool.
What's your thoughts, mate? It's quite a difficult one, that. That is a difficult one.
It is. What world do I see Everton scoring 2 goals? I guess that's kind of the challenge for me. I think Bournemouth are a lot safer defensively at home than they are away from home.
Yeah.
And I think they're better attacking. Maybe not attacking, maybe they score the same amount at home. They did concede a couple to West Ham, though, didn't they? And who's got a better attack, West Ham or Everton? Probably still West Ham. I'm going to go with a 2-0 Bournemouth. I'm gonna, go with what I
2-0.
want for my FPL team. Let that influence me a little bit, because why not? We're at quick fixture turnaround, so something's gonna have to influence me on this. All right, I'll jump over to Fulham versus City, and this is a weird one, right? Fulham got
Oh,
that away win finally. They finally got that
they
away win
did.
chain, and they're very good at home. Like Arsenal barely beat them. They drew with Liverpool.
It's
They haven't really played anyone
yeah.
else at home, have they? Mm,
No, I mean they are. We know they're fairly solid in their setup, and City they're still not ticking along as nicely as we thought. And they're still, it's going to be tough for them to break down, and it's going to be on Pep's selection. I think Pep's sometimes it just goes a bit rogue. Sometimes, to be honest, mate, it's
well, that's it. It depends
difficult.
on who he does go for. I think they'll end up getting like a last minute winner again. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 City.
Oh, a 2-1 City. Actually, I don't think Fulham will score. I think it will be tight. They'll go 1-0 or 2-0. The thing is, though, what do we know? City are bad at the back. Well, they're not bad, but they're not. They're definitely not good at the back. I think he does shore it up a little bit, though. I go for 2-0 Fulham. They've still got a bit of a championship squad. They really do. And yeah, I mean, when you got the likes of Calvin Bassey as your centre back and Anderson, who's kind of gone, he's up against Haaland. He's still looking for his 100th goal. Didn't get it against Leeds. Yeah, I think he gets it here. I'm going to go for 2-0, mate. 2-0 City. Colm's in here. So well done, Colm, for your first away win.
He said
Oh, in
every
fact,
Fulham
Colm
supporter
just.
knows Haaland will get his 100th Premier League goal.
Yeah. Just
Eddie thinks
agreed.
it'll be 1-1. Jackie thinks it'll be 1-1. Andrew thinks
Uh,
2-1 City. Sandri 3-0. And Hippie is going
uh,
2-1.
I
And
mean,
just a
everyone's
side
got
note,
it
if you
tight.
are asking us questions about your team, we are starring it. You don't need to keep asking it. We'll come to it at the end of the show if we've got time.
We'll get it in. No worries. Back to me. Back to me. Newcastle Spurs tomorrow, 8:15 or 9 my time. I don't know. I mean, Newcastle came off European. They looked really good against Everton, but Everton were in a little bit disarray in the first half, and it was 4-0 in the first half. And yeah, the fans weren't happy. It's Gomez saying, "I'm coming across Dunfermline to give you a slap, Championship side." Hey, Dunfermline in Championship, mate. There's nothing wrong with that, Cobb. There's nothing wrong with that, mate. Yeah, Newcastle Spurs. Listen, Spurs have been dropping the ball since about game week 3 when they beat City, and it's kind of gone down from there. They did have the best away record until Arsenal battered them, but they didn't really play anyone I know apart from City. So I think Newcastle a little bit like United, Man United, a little bit one game away from reverting back. It's a tough. Do you know? I looked at the fixtures this week here, and there's a lot of really, really, really difficult games. I think it'll be close because I think Spurs are going to set up a little bit more defensively. He needs to steady the ship. He can't keep conceding that amount of goals. However, it's at St James's Park. They seem to get the rub of the green. They especially get most of the decisions from all the games that I've watched. I'm going to go for a 2-1, mate. Newcastle 2-1. Just edge it. It could go anyway, though. I'm not. It's difficult, isn't it? These games this week are really, really difficult. Most of them.
It's a funny one, right? Because like Newcastle, and again, do you read into historic records or not in these kind of fixtures?
I do a bit.
Part,
I do
part
a
of me
bit.
does,
I always look at them.
right? I think some teams are. I think some teams and fan bases believe it, and therefore it rubs on the players to an extent from a psychological perspective. Well,
Yeah.
Newcastle have battered Spurs 4-0 and 6-1 when they've played them at home, and they've won the last two after that as well, 2-1 and 2-0. So
Mm.
yeah, I just think Spurs are on a poor run of form. Could be another defeat now, and it's a tough one, and they do let in quite a few goals at the moment. Like losing 2-1 on the weekend was unacceptable for Spurs. But I think Newcastle can kind of
Yeah.
push things home. I think this could be, the PSG Spurs game. where
Yeah.
Spurs attacked and just got torn apart. I think we could be looking at something similar here. So I'm going to go. I'm going to double your score, Shane. I'm going to go 4-2.
A little 4-2. I think in terms of players, mate, I Voltamadi scored a really well taken goal this weekend, but for me, he's a bit of a luxury player. There's a lot of instances where he should score and he doesn't. He's not that clinical, though he does get some nice looking goals, if you get what I mean. However, Spurs, see, every week when I do my notes, I do my eye test notes, I always write Spurs cannot defend the cross, and they can't. So I think he could be a problem for them. I think Romero being out, I think he is out for this game. Danzo, in my opinion, mate, he's just I don't think he suits the Premier League. I don't think he's that good a player, mate. I really, really don't. And sometimes Van de Ven he can go a bit walkies, can't he? I either get the vibe he's having an electric game where he scores 2 goals, an absolute demon at the back, or he's pretty poor. And last week he wasn't the best, mate. But yeah, it was a good game to round it off. Right, it's back to you, isn't it?
Back to me, and we keep timing it this way, right? So we're then moving on to
Oh,
Wednesday,
look at that.
and we're
You
going
wrote it.
Arsenal versus Brentford. So Arsenal with the best defence in the league, conceding 7 goals all season. They've scored 12 in the 13 matches played this season. They've not conceded a goal in the first half in 10 of the 13 matches played this season.
Ooh.
Whereas at the moment, Brentford are conceding goals, particularly away from home. They've lost 5 of their last 6 away matches. Arsenal coming off the back of a draw, you've got to expect. Even Chelsea, right? Chelsea, Bayern Munich, both those teams had one clear goal scoring chance and they scored it. Teams
Yeah.
aren't getting more than one against Arsenal, and you've got to score it. Brentford, is Thiago injured or not? That will be kind of the question. Can he do much against Arsenal? Will it be Hincapié and Mosquera? In which case, I think he can be quite physical with them and might have some joy. Arsenal could concede again if it's that pairing, but I think they win either way, and I think they score 3 in the process. I'm going to back my boys and go with a 3-0 victory.
Do you know what I was saying to one of my other Arsenal fans the other day? I was like, Marino, but this is the kind of game Marino scores in last week, and he did, and he is class. For me, listen, Brentford are a lot better than what we thought, weren't they? Or a lot better than some people thought. Kieran, if Thiago plays, it's going to be quite close. There'll be 1 goal in it. They could even get. I honestly think they could get a draw if Thiago plays. And I'm not kind of bigging up saying that Arsenal are, they got a fantastic defence, but they kind of grooves with Brentford a little bit. And Arsenal, I know, is Saliba going to be out as well midweek? I imagine he will be, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, you probably think so. So it puts a little bit more pressure on that new centre back pairing. They're still good players. They're still very, very good players. But I just feel like if Thiago plays, Brentford are pretty good in the attack. I was toying with 1-1, but I think Arsenal will just shade it. I think Saka needs to start coming in a little bit more. I think he needs to be doing a little bit more, Saka. I've been watching him, and he's been megging players, and he's been doing all the nice fancy stuff. And he did have a few chances at the weekend, but he has to start scoring a little bit more, I think. He did assist the first goal, which was good, but yeah, he has to start scoring a little bit more. And I think he probably does at the weekend. And I think Arsenal win 2-1, mate. So that's what I'm going for. Back to me, Brighton, Villa. Yeah, Brighton. Yeah. Oh, Calm. Yes, I copied Calm there. That's what it was. Brighton. Brighton shocked me the other day. I keep thinking that they're due for not a drubbing, but a bit of a defeat. And what are they up to? 4th in the league now, 4th or 5th. So they're coming along really, really well. It's funny what Andrew's put on there actually about the pens. If you have a look, Brighton concede a lot of pens. Is this the game that they concede a little bit more? I don't know. They are going to score because how Wolves didn't score against Villa the other day, I don't know. The defense isn't the best. We all know Villa just score and concede all the time, and it's the same with Brighton. And I'm going to do it, mate. Double Desi. It's 2-2. It's another Desi for Shane. 2-2, mate. I think they're both going to be quite open, and yeah, they're both going to go for it a little bit. 2-2. What's your thoughts? I'm thinking this will be quite different from mine, but it's a different. Like all the games, most of the games this week are difficult, mate.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you in terms of how it's going to go. I think it's a hard to pick game. I'm not going to go with 2-1. I'm just going to go with the safe 1-all for this one this week, mate.
I mean,
Nothing
interestingly,
really. Like
Watkins was dropped.
Minter is someone that's been on my mind, and I know. Again, this is where we can bring up some of the questions if they are relevant. So let me just
Yeah.
go back to some that I have starred here. Um, PVR Paul is saying that I'm thinking Minter or Mbumo. I like Minter. The downside of Mbumo is you've got to transfer him out in 16 at the latest because I think he plays game week 16, so you have to transfer him out after that. But you do get the AFCON transfers, and there still is like 3 games that you get from him there.
Yeah.
Minter is good long term, and he gives you more money to play around with. And you just got to appreciate he's not going to assist every game week. He is much more of an assist threat than he is a goal scoring threat. I think he's only scored once this season, and I think the rest have all been assists. So just,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say you'd go Minter out of the two of them. There was another one just to sort of come back to as well, but Mark had mentioned it. I'm not sure Saka's worth the extra money over Rice or Eza. What am I missing? I don't
Yeah.
think you're missing much. I think Eza feels like he's on a time frame now with Odegaard back in terms of his minutes will be managed a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Rice feels like the one. When I wild card, I think Rice will probably be my Arsenal attacker to go along with double defence. Saka's the one with the upside, and he always will be. And he probably is still on penalties, even with Gokares when he comes back. But Arsenal aren't getting penalties, so it's somewhat irrelevant. So
Yeah.
it'd be Rice for
I
me.
have thought that, I have thought, and interestingly enough, I'm going to make a move where it takes someone who's a little bit cheap and someone who's a little bit more expensive. But yeah, so I need to start seeing stuff from Saka, and I don't mean in terms, like I said there, he's looking good, he's mega players, and he's doing the right showy stuff. But I need to start seeing goals. If not, he is expensive. I have thought about taking him out, mate. But
Yeah, right, keeping it back
yeah,
on track so we can rattle through this and get onto it. So Burnley v Palace, we've got a few more games to go through, Shane. So we'll do these ones a bit quicker. Burnley
yeah,
Palace, I think Palace. I'm just hoping they get a clean sheet here. I think it'll be a boring game. I think they don't have much on the attack. I think Nketiah will most definitely start. I think it could be a 1-all, but I think I'm going to just hope that on the push to get an equaliser, Burnley leave himself a bit open and it finishes 2-0 to Palace.
yeah. I mean, I've got double pass defence. I just there's something in me, mate, that it feels like Burnley's going to score. And I don't know if that's because I've got two Palace defenders and I'm like, no, I bet they score. I don't know. I'm kind of torn between 2-0 and 2-1. I don't know. Keep it tight. They are getting a little bit tired now. They don't have long. They played the other day, and that's 3 games on the spin in a very, very short space of time. Palace don't score much, and Burnley a bit better at home. So I'm actually going to go for a 1-0 Crystal Palace, mate. I'm going to go for a really close and 1-0 Crystal Palace.
Nice. You're now on to probably the most boring game of the game week, Wolves versus Forest.
Oh, you say that. Wolves are definitely improving. I mean, that's not hard. It's a very, very low bar. They're still going down. They are, but Strand Larson is he's a little bit of an outlet for them, and he had a goal disallowed. Rightly disallowed because there was a player standing in the way. RS was standing in the way, but yeah, they should have scored against Villa the other day. Nottingham Forest, they're not quite in there. I did look at a while ago speaking about Anderson. He's becoming more involved. So actually, he's a player I'm looking at getting in this week if I'm going to do a double move and take a -4. In terms of how the game's going to go, Wolves surely have got to score soon. You would think they've got to score soon, but they're playing a Sean Dice Forest away from home. So I think though Wolves do score soon, I don't think it's in this fixture, and I think it's a fairly comfortable 3-0 for Forest. And in that 3-0, look out for a man called Milenkovic, a unit. I'm getting the vibes from him, mate. Yeah, so 3-0 Forest.
We have a 2-0 from Colm, a 2-0 from Geddy, a 2-1 Forest from Jackie, a 3-1 from Sandri, and a 2-1 from Eddie. And we have a 0-0 from Kieran. I just think this is a drab game with.
No.
I agree with you. I think Dyche will set it up quite defensively to not concede. I think Wolves will probably dominate the game and there just won't be many chances for either team. I just think it'll be.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's not that case, but there's plenty of other games on during that time. So won't lose any sleep over it. Leeds v Chelsea, on the other hand, it
Mm.
does feel as if what are Chelsea going to be like without Caicedo for a whole game? Will Cole Palmer be back? That's going to be an interesting question. Will he get any minutes?
Yeah.
Will Liam Delap start? Will Mark Gui get a start or some minutes in this game? Because it seems like a good game for him. Chelsea are decent. They're still one lost, I think, now in like 12 games. So
I do
doing
remember.
very, very well. I reckon I'm going to go with like a 2-1 Chelsea for this game.
I don't think it'll be close, mate. And obviously, it's quite a good game. I mean, I used to watch in kind of early 2000s. Like to Mark Viduka, Harry Kewell, all that kind of stuff. And it is a big game. I though think there's going to be a big dwarf between these two teams. I really do, and I think this is a bit of a marker for Chelsea to put down. We all thought for a while, not all of us, but a lot of people thought, oh, Leeds aren't that bad, especially at home. They're not that bad. They're not. They are not very good. He did change his front five the weekend, and he got a little bit more of a song out of them, and obviously they scored a few. But again, that was very very lucky for them to score. I do think they score in this game just because Chelsea they just overcommit quite often, and Leeds do have some fast players, so I do think they score. However, I keep getting this vibe, Kieran, that Cole Palmer coming in, he's going to make stuff a lot better at Chelsea. Pedro, get Pedro, get out. I'd probably take Pedro out, and I'd probably play Delap or Guay up there. They're both still not good, but I think Palmer in there makes a huge difference, and he helps Enzo. For me, I think it's a batter, mate. I'm going to go 5-1, mate. I'm going to go 5-1. I think Enzo's good. I'm worried about not having him this game week, and I think Cole Palmer comes in a little bit later, and he gets something on the score sheet, mate, or an assist anyway.
We've
5-1.
got a lot of similar results to you, like a 4-0 from PVR, a 3-2 lead from Geddy. Harry Kill was
Oh,
still getting his team. Chopper Harris
he
versus
was.
Eddie Gray.
Yes.
Over to you, though,
Uh,
Shane, for Liverpool versus Sunderland.
uh, did you do Leeds? Did you do that first? Did you? Oh, you did.
Yeah, I
Right,
did
go
it
on.
first, yeah.
Liverpool, Sunderland. It's difficult. I mean, listen, Anfield. It used to be a safe haven. Used to batter teams. It's going to be Sunderland away as well. And Liverpool still haven't recovered. Like I know they beat West Ham 2-0 the other day, but please watch the highlights. If West Ham had a little bit more creativity and they had 11 people on the pitch, I, I think they would have scored. And I think Sunderland score again. I really do. The question is, do Liverpool have enough? It really depends on his lineup. I think Salah's going to start this. He's not going to start twice on the bench. So Salah's going to come in, but at what cost and who does he move it around? That's the key thing. I think with Isaac up top, that helps. That helps Verts a lot. It helps Gakpo, gives him a little bit more space and a little freedom as well. Everything in me is wanting to say a draw because Sunderland are they're really gonna go for this. But I think Isaac, you've seen his quality the weekend with his finishing. I'm gonna go 2-1 Liverpool, mate.
He's finishing.
And
The
it's
ball
making me
was
think
like
about
in a
Isaac getting.
6-yard box. It was sitting in the 6
Yeah,
yard.
but it was a good
Look,
finish. It was a good
yeah, I'm
finish.
not doubting him as a player. Like he is a class player, but also he missed a chance from like 3 yards out as well, right? So it was good for him to get that first goal under his belt after 5 hours of football. But
Yeah,
it
he's still
wasn't
the score
anything
sheet, mate.
special. It wasn't anything special. Bring him up
Ryan just said
8th in
there,
the
just
table.
just to bring it up, he said, "Do you think Liverpool need to sack Arne Slot?" It's funny, my little boy's been talking about, oh, they need to sack Arne Slot, they need to get rid of him. And the more and more it goes on, I'm thinking, my 9-year-old son might be correct. Nah, you've got to give him a bit longer. You've got to give him a bit longer. What are you going to go for, mate?
I'm
I've got
going the
2-1.
same as you, to be honest. I'm going 2-1 as well because Sunderland are a team that when they concede, they always seem to get an equaliser. And Liverpool are a team that if they score first, they always seem to win. So I think it will just be one of those where Liverpool score, Sunderland peg them back, Liverpool score again. Final
I
game,
mean,
the only game on Thursday is United v West Ham. I'm moving this along, Shane, because we're already hitting the hour mark and we need to be strict to as close as
it's
possible.
just over. Yeah, come on.
Um,
It's on
so
you, isn't it?
me
Yes, yeah.
first, United v West Ham. Again, I don't think West Ham are that bad. Like this Liverpool defeat, Liverpool are still decent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And West Ham have beaten Newcastle, beaten Burnley, drawn with Bournemouth. So they were on a decent-ish run since new manager had come in, started to make a bit of an impact. Callum Wilson's looking decent. Paqueta was looking
Well,
okay. Bowen's
yeah, it was. Yeah.
decent, but Paqueta being out just kind of takes away any chance for West Ham in this game. I think
Yeah.
that's the critical issue. You know, Somerville comes in, he's decent, but he's not the same quality. United, Cunha being back will be pretty important. I was tempted by Cunha. Bruno just
Ooh.
feels almost Bruno feels almost essential at the, well, not essential, but like if you want something from the United attack, he feels like you should just be going him, and then you can get another one if you want to go for upside. But Bruno just feels like the guy's missed 2 penalties and he's still above all of the other United attackers now.
Yeah, do you know what? Again, if you've not watched the highlights, you'd think, right, Bruno got 2 assists, he's on it. The first one was a pass and then a worldy finish. And then the second one was he tapped it and then Mount scored from the free kick. But there's a theme here, isn't there? He's involved in everything, mate. Whether he takes a corner, whether he touches the ball and Mount hits it, he's involved in everything. And for me, yeah, I agree, mate. He's essential. And as a little kind of spoiler, he's coming in for me. With a team like United, they've got no European football over this period. I need him. I need him. I can't do without
That's
him.
it. They've got the
And
freshest legs out of everyone, right? So yeah, I'll just go
yeah,
with the 3-0 to Man United for this one, and then fire it over to you.
I yeah, quite funny enough. I was looking at United. I was looking at Delict actually for the next two. They got West Ham and Wolves. It could be a little bit far, but yeah, Comms with 3-1. Okay, Eddie 2-0. Eddie 2-2. West Ham, I've got a little bit. I think they're still bad at the back. Hillman and that he's still way off it. Wan-Bissaka obviously want to play really well at his return to Old Trafford. I'm going to go for 3-0. 3-0 United, mate.
Cool. Nice. So we will move it on. Shane, this is your bus team. What's how many
Okay.
transfers in the bank? What are you thinking?
So I've only got one. I took a -4 last week, actually. It paid off because I had Thiago and O'Reilly, so that was good to pay for himself. It could even be even bigger with O'Reilly. It's a pretty good setup. I've got Petrovic. Okay, it'll be tight with Everton. I'm happy to play him. I've got Chalobah, scored again. I think he's up to 3 or 4 goals now. Might even be 4. So he could look good for Leeds. He was on my bench last week. Not that I play him against, that fixture anyway. Munoz and LaCroix look very, very good. O'Reilly away to Fulham. Listen, he might get benched. He might get benched for 1 point, but we've taken that risk, so he has to play. In midfield, we've got Rodgers, Saka, Sarr, Gakpo, and Reinders. And then up top is obviously Haaland. On the bench is Thiago, Senesi, Mark Guay, and Vicario. If Thiago's fit, I play him against Arsenal. I do, because I think there's a decent chance he scores. He's been on good form. Arsenal got 2 different centre-backs in, so I could do that. But the glaring one for me, even if Thiago does play, is I'm going to swap Sarr out and upgrade him to Bruno, which I'm sure you could agree with me, Kieran, is an exceptional upgrade, mate. Originally, I was thinking Reinders and maybe a two move and a -4, but from looking at Reinders at the weekend, he's quite up there. But then again, he plays a Fulham, so I could take a -4, and I've been thinking of a
Yeah, but
Bruno
you've
for a
got
Sarr. Go on.
God. Who would your Ryan's move be?
I was thinking Reinders to Anderson at Forest.
No. Like, to your point, right? Like Thiago gets 1 point against Arsenal, or Mark Guru gets a point against Leeds, right? You then need Anderson to score 5 points to justify that move, and that means he's got to score or get an assist. Which
Or I need Bruno. Or I need Bruno to bang because it's the same moves.
no, but you don't need to make the other move to accommodate it, right? Like
Yeah,
you
I
can
know.
just do
Yeah,
Bruno to start, right? So you can't look
yeah.
at those two combined. For me personally, the way I'm looking at it is the second the Saturday FPL deadline hits, the second that clock turns over after the game week 15 deadline, you
Yep.
get 5 free transfers. That is in 4 days' time. In 4 days' time, you will have 5 free transfers in your team, no matter what. So, do you want to use a -4 now, knowing you're about to get 5 free transfers?
I don't like
I
taking
don't
it,
think
so I think that was
Anderson's
my
a high
second
enough.
pick.
Like, yeah,
Yeah,
Anderson's
yeah.
not a
No,
big
you're
enough
probably right.
upside.
Yeah, no, you're
Yeah,
probably
I'd
right.
start going like, look, we'll move on to my team, but like, I've already made the move, Shane. I've already done
Oh,
Sarr to Bruno.
early move. Naughty.
He's already happened. Um, I know this is the FPL team one, but I've actually done it on my phone as well because I thought the deadline's tomorrow. There's nothing else I'm going to do differently. There
Yeah.
was There was an argument where I was considering Foden for it because I think Foden's great as well. But I want
Mm,
both of them probably by game week 17, or I might want Foden on game week 17. So I just went straight for it. Look, this team has
yeah,
Senesi in it, right? That's the critical thing. Senesi, we know he's not playing. So ignore my bench order. I'm going to
yeah.
have Mark Guru starting. So I'll be Petrovic in
Oof.
goal, O'Reilly, Munoz, Lacroix, Gakpo, Sobsolai, Semenyo, Saka, Bruno, Haaland, Guru, with Mukiele as my first bench option. Again, like all of
Let,
my moves moving forward are just purely going to be focused on my bench boosts. So
yeah, same.
next week there'll be a defender transfer. I have been looking at like Matthias de Ligt, right? And I was using yesterday's game as a bit of recon on him because
Yeah,
I like Man United's upcoming fixtures and I like the idea of him. The problem is, and I don't know, it comes back to the thing you were saying about eye test, Shane. But I was
yeah.
watching every time Man United got a set piece, and he was nowhere near them, right? And I then was like, I wonder why he's not near them. So I started to look at him, and he ain't tall, is he? He's for a centre back. He's not very tall, Shane.
Was he 5'11" or something or 6?
Well, he's. Let me have a look here actually,
Yeah, I don't
because
think he's
I know
that
what he is in
tall.
centimeters. He's
It's funny
six
you should
foot
say
two,
that.
but he looks
Six
small.
two.
Apparently, he's 189 centimeters. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I'm not having it.
It's funny because again this season we've like again I was saying when you were away getting your shopping we don't because we're really busy. We don't tend to speak too much about transfers, but we have the same ideas. Like I was saying, Delict earlier in the show, you're now talking about Delict, which is good. But yeah, I don't know if I'm strong enough to bring him in against West Ham. Saying that though, West Ham are still poor at crosses.
Look, we're going to rattle through some questions quickly
Before
here.
hold on,
So
Ken,
please do. Yep.
go in the questions, but let's talk about captaincy because away to Fulham is a difficult game. And what we've seen is that midfield five, if you've got a mix of, fantastic top FPL players and differentials that we've had, like, Eze, Rogers, Foden, some people had at the weekend. Are you thinking about moving the captaincy off? Because I genuinely am. I am.
Yeah, I might be going to Bruno for it. That was part of the
Yeah.
reason why I bought him in. I don't think I'd
I'm
be putting a
thinking of it.
captaincy armband on Cunha because I did it on Cunha in my free hit in game week 3, and Cunha went off after 30 minutes, and then Boomer and Bruno got the points. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's Bruno, it's Saka. There's even an argument for basically any of my midfielders could get the armband this week. I didn't even realise they're all at home and they all have good fixtures.
Yeah,
Yeah,
looks
no,
good.
I'm almost certainly going for one of my midfielders, Shane.
I think we have to because what we've seen is, and again, I'm not sure about Fulham because unfortunately, sorry, I'm calm. I do think there's some games where they could get battered, and City could turn it on. But from what we've seen so far with the data and a little bit of the eye test, Fulham are fairly strong at home. They don't tend to get battered. So if Bruno gets a sniff of anything, mate, if he gets an assist with a clean sheet, he's getting like max bonus. He gets anything. If he gets a goal and assist and DEFCON and it could be huge. And I'm kind of 70 or 75% going Bruno instead of Haaland. I really am because Haaland has to score two to even match that. Do you know what I mean? And no, he
Brilliant.
could. He could do it,
Right.
but he just
Moving
yeah.
on to the questions, though, Shane. I'm going to fire through them. I'm going to go first on a question, and I'll give you the next question. And you get 30
Like
seconds
it.
maximum on
Oh,
the
I like
questions
this.
here, so
I
we can be
like
done
this.
in 5 minutes. So for me, would you do a -4 to go O'Reilly for Senesi? Eddie, do me a favour here. Oh, hang on. Sorry. O'Reilly and Rice in for Senesi and Sarr, or bench Senesi, play Mukiele instead. Riley's good long term, but it's one of those weird ones, right, where I can see that paying off in both of those players in the couple
Yeah.
of game weeks. Again, I don't like a -4. Mukiele feels like he'll get a 1 pointer because he'll probably concede 3 and get DEFCON against Liverpool. Shane has
Yep.
gone for a 2-1. I've gone for a 2-1, in which case he'd actually be getting a 2 pointer. So the question is, do you think O'Reilly can get 6 points in this fixture? And I'd argue, do you know what? He probably can get a 6 pointer against Fulham. Do you think
Yeah.
Rice can get better than 0 for Star or better than like a 6 pointer? yeah, if he gets an assist in that game, he could be looking at it as well. So I think that is one of the examples where, yeah, I probably would do that, Eddie. The next question is for you, and it's from Paul, and it's who's the best 2 week punt? Mbumo, Gakpo, Minter, or Rice?
I'm pretty confident on Gakpo, mate. You know, I've had him for quite a while, but even at the eye test yesterday, he was involved in the majority of stuff. Even at, Verts has changed position, Salah's not playing. There's a constant there, and it's Gakpo. So for me, over the other ones, and Buemo, he's going to come out. He could have a good game this weekend, but I'd probably rather go Bruno. Minter, I don't think he's got that high ceiling. And Rice, unless you're going to hold for the long term, I'm pretty set on Gakpo, mate.
Cool. Sandra, I've tried to find the most recent one you put in here, but your team is Raya, Munoz, Cavadio, Richards, Anderson, Fernandez, Bruno G, Rice, Thiago, Haaland, Mateta. That's a good team. Yeah, I like that. Bruno G is a nice punt thrown in there as well. Newcastle's most
This
reliable,
weekend he is, yeah.
consistent one. Plays every minute for them. No concern around that. Rice, probably like we were saying, good Arsenal asset. You've got an Arsenal defence coverage in there. Gavardio, I guess it just depends on what your bench is. It wouldn't surprise me if Gavardio was benched this week. That would be the only thing I'd throw in there. Like an Ake and Diaz start, for example.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about the Palace double up, to be honest. The moving towards it instead of moving away from it. I mean, Richard was good to bench for DEFCON, but I don't know.
Hippie, you've asked if we can rate your game week 14 team, but
I've got it in front of me.
On your YouTube channel. You do? Cool. You can do a team then.
Got it in front of me. So Hippie's got a Chelsea double up of Sanchez and Chalobah. I like that. Then he's got Munoz and Lacroix. Yep. Then he's got Timber. I do like a Timber, mate, especially when obviously Gabby and Saliba's out. Then in midfield, he's got Semenyo, Rice, Saka, and Anderson. Oh, differentials there. And then up top, he's got Mateta and Haaland cap. On the bench, he's got Donnarumma, O'Reilly, Minter, and Thiago. I mean, what would you do? I mean, I'd probably play Minter personally.
Yeah, I'd play Minter.
I'd probably play him.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'd play him. For who? It's difficult. I don't know. Probably Anderson. Probably a higher ceiling, but probably Anderson. But it's a good team.
What was the striker three? What was the front three? Or front two?
He's got Mateta, Haaland, who's playing it, and on the bench he's got Thiago. So he's got a solid front three, mate. Solid. Yeah. He's got in fact, he's got a balanced team, mate. It's a good team.
And he's got Donnarumma as part of his bench as well. That's weird, right? A lot of money for a bench goalkeeper.
Yeah.
All right, we will go.
Yeah, it's good.
Back over to what's Geddy said. What's your thoughts on Rice for a -4, or just play Anderson for his 3-pointer? Anderson, surely, right?
Yeah.
Defcon Anderson, we mean, right? Like Fulham Anderson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew has asked you, Gakpo captaincy.
I don't mind this, I don't mind this. I know Liverpool only going to score 2 goals, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go there just because I'm still undecided about Liverpool attack. But yeah, I mean, if you don't have Bruno, you want to go against Haaland again. If Gakpo scores and gets an assist, he's smashed Haaland. So yeah, I don't dislike it, mate. Don't dislike it, pal.
Nice. And then if Thiago doesn't play, I've got Rodon, upgrade Rodon to Lacroix or Tior. If it's for free,
yeah.
See, if it's for free, I'm not going Tior if I'm going Newcastle, right? Like Voltemada's comments were telling.
Yeah.
Like he was going, "Oh man, this guy can't header for shit," and he managed to score 2 headers. Like, what the fuck is this? we wanted to do extra training with him to get him to practice his header, but the weather was too bad. We don't know how he scores. That doesn't fill me with confidence that they're aiming to get it onto Malik Tior's head, right? When like Voltemada's going, "We don't know how this happened, man. Like, dude, you can't header. Like, wow, how did you do this?" Like, I know it's part of like the team banner, and it was really nice to see from that perspective. But also, it did make me go like, when you've got Dan Burn in the team, when you've got Fabian Schär, who probably should get minutes at some point coming up, I'm more excited by the fact that Trippier is out injured, and I'd be more looking at a Livramento or a Hall if I was going into that Newcastle.
It looked very good at the weekend. Yeah, it looked very good.
So if I was going for free, I'd go for one of them. I wouldn't be going Lacroix because You don't get Defcon against Burnley, would be the simple thing I'd say. Like, we're playing him for the clean sheet, but you don't get Defcon against Burnley. And the fixtures aren't that great moving forward. All right, we've got one more question I think we'll do, and then we will finish it. So over to you. Not necessarily immediate one, but with all these 5 transfers that we're going to have Saturday after the deadline, what's your thoughts on Cole Palmer, Shano?
Man, I like it, and I've kind of changed from, like I said a while ago. I was like, right, I'm not even contemplating Palmer until he starts doing something. But actually, like I'm saying, I think Palmer links that all together. I really, really do, and I don't think it matters if Kawhi plays up top or Pedro. I think he links it all together, mate, and I think he hits the ground running, mate. So listen, if this weekend he comes on with about, I don't know, 30, 35 minutes, I might take the risk because that's what we need to do this season. We need to get those 5 bangers in midfield because that's going to progress us. As long as, the rest of our team it's not template, but, you've got some good players in there. I think, I'm thinking about it. Are you thinking about it, Kieran? I'm just looking at his ownership. Have a guess what his ownership is. Jesus, I didn't know it was that low. I mean, he's been injured, but guess what his ownership is.
7.4%.
Oh, not bad. 9.3. So, he's a differential, kind of same as Bruno. I think he runs, 18%. And
I'm using Cole's comment on you as well. 30 seconds. That was our rule. Both of us have gone over in our final question. But that is it from us this week. I will quickly answer this for Sammy. So, Sammy, look, you get 5 transfers in game week 16. If you use one of them, then you'll be back to 5 in game week 17. If you use one of them, you'll be back to 5 in game week 18. If you use none of them in game week 16, you will still have 5. Basically, it tops you up to 5, which is the maximum. So if you can then use one every week until the final game week if you wanted to, and always have 5 transfers in the bank. But that's it from us, really. What we say is it's been a quick turnaround. It's probably not going to have been the best show in the world. It's been one of our quicker ones, but we would still appreciate if you can like, subscribe, share, chuck a comment on after we've gone offline as well, and have a guess as to what day and time we're going to do our next recording, because even we don't know at this moment in time, because Shane and I don't really speak to each other.
Well, Kieran, I've got a little update. I moved some little stuff around, and I thought, do you know what? It's a midweek. It's a midweek, deadline this week. I'm going to do the FDR decoder tomorrow at the same time as a deadline stream, because that's just how we roll, mate. That's how we do it. So, what time's the deadline tomorrow? 6 o'clock UK time, right?
So that'll be like 4 a.m. your time, Shane, right?
I'd still do it, man. I'd still be here. But yeah, so I'll be on at least an hour before, so about 5 o'clock. So as you're confirming all your teams tomorrow night, jump on. We'll talk about fixtures in the decoder, and we'll talk about teams. Any questions you need answered, jump on tomorrow, mate. And we'll have a skiing video out this week as well. Another skiing video, mate. So they're in good hands, mate. We're getting there. We're smashing the content. But like you said, there's been a lot more questions tonight as well. Even more than
30 seconds, Shane.
So thank you very much for joining, and yeah, we'll let Kieran close it out. But thanks very much for joining all.
Thanks everyone for joining us today. Have a good game week, and remember to tell all your friends who the top 2 content creators currently are. Have a good evening, and may your arrows be green.